Hi, good afternoon, Maria. It's so good to see you. Thank you for taking the time out to come and meet with me to discuss your results of your financial plan for retirement and estate planning. I appreciate it, and I appreciate all the time that you and Sancho have put into um, obtaining all the information and really doing a deep dive into your finances to provide the information that was available to you. And I know that Sancho is extremely busy, and I'm sorry that he's not meeting with us today, but I look forward to discussing the results with you, as well as addressing any questions or concerns that you have going forward. Just to let you know that um, this plan is a malleable living document, and just like we live and breathe, it'll live and breathe. If you need to make an adjustment to it at any point in time, it is written on paper. It is not written in stone. So we can address that at that point. And also, when you have questions or concerns, the market is going crazy, and you just want to make sure that you're going to reach your goals, we can update the plan, make sure that you're still in a place that you're comfortable with, and then we'll go forward from there. Um, Really, the high level of the plan is, it tells me that you're in a great financial position, that you both are extremely busy, hardworking people, and I just don't know how you have the time in the day to get through everything. Um, but you've done a fabulous job of putting together a well-established portfolio, and really, you know, growing the businesses. And I will say that growing the businesses, that can be an expensive endeavor. And I know that one of your top questions was in regards to just your cash flow, your month-to-month expenses. And I wanted to bring it to light that that could be something that you do some further homework on. When I ran the cash flow analysis, you have a lot of expenses that go into the businesses, particularly the consulting business. And while it brings in a great cash flow, it also costs a lot in regards to the lease expenses for the vehicles, as well as the homes and the travel back and forth. So um, you glean out $168,000 approximately every year, but you have a lot of expenses that go into it. And so you might want to discuss that further with Sancho to see if there's some place that you can maybe reduce some expenses within the business. So that way you can bring a little bit more back to the household in general. Also, the the rental properties are super investments. Real estate's always a great allocation, but you're actually paying more than you're bringing in rent. So I would suggest that maybe when it's time to renew those leases, that you revisit the monthly rent charge. That way you can offset your expenses and maybe make a little bit in the with your investment, better rate of return. Um, I realize that you did not pick the renters to begin with, so um, you're under obligation until those rent those leases expire. But just to put a little bug in your ear, just keep that in mind, that that's something that you're going to want to revisit. As far as your overall um, assets, your net worth is $3,875,056. Your liabilities were $3,256,273. So you're really in great standing there. As far as, I know you were worried about Sanchez possibly, or Sancho possibly passing away prematurely, and how that would affect you, because he is the soul of the business. Um, and of course the breadwinner um, with his career. So those are valid concerns, but he's done really well in regards to making sure that you have enough insurance coverage that that will not be an issue for you. You have $5 million in life insurance. fully payable to you as far as your estate plan is concerned. You're not going to be subject to any tax liability. The other thing that jumped out at me was that you are not joint on most of the brokerage accounts. I would I would discuss with him possibly adding you as a joint owner, because going forward, if something was to happen, it would make it easier for you in the estate planning process, just transferring transferring names the way it is now with it being a single name account. Um, those would have to go through probate and then be retitled. If he was able to possibly maybe add a transfer on death on those accounts, where you don't necessarily have ownership at this point in time, but you would upon his passing, that would be a good option, as well as adding you as a joint owner, and that would further reduce your estate tax liability if you were to incur any. That would keep that threshold lower. As far as your long-term care insurance, of course, Sancho is the breadwinner and he has a policy that takes care of that, but you also have a great plan in place where you've already delineated assets that go toward that purpose. And in my analysis, it shows that you will be successful. So good for you. Great forethought in putting that in place, and having those conversations, which sometimes those can be the most difficult to have. Um, as far as estate planning going forward, I would highly suggest that you meet with a tax attorney or estate planning attorney, somebody who specializes in documentation such as wills, powers of attorney, medical directives, as well as any kind of HIPAA clause that your state may have, that would provide an avenue to release information that could be very important during times of crisis, where you may not want to dig for information or have any complications when somebody's in the hospital and having a health crisis. So I would highly suggest that you and Sancho do that as soon as possible. Um, as far as retirement, um, great standing in retirement. I would suggest that we, because of the disparity in risk tolerance, where you are on one end of the spectrum where you're extremely risk averse and Sancho is willing to take a lot more risk, that we blend those together and come up with a nice balanced portfolio, that one that you can sleep with and he may get a rate of return that he would be happy with as well. That would help going forward, mitigate the downside, enjoy the upside, but just a kind of a plain vanilla portfolio, give you enough growth that it will take you to the end of retirement and you can be successful, but not so much that you have to you lose sleep at night. And that's what it's all about, is making sure that your comfort level is taken care of, that you're in good standing, you feel good about what we're doing. So I would highly suggest that we have that conversation, or you have that conversation with Sancho, pass on the information, and discuss restructuring those portfolios going forward. I also ran an analysis in regards to your Social Security, and it would behoove you to wait just a little bit longer, and that's because with every passing year you get an extra percentage. And also for estate planning purposes, because you get half of Sancho's, it would really help you in the long term. Statistically speaking, women live longer than men, and so therefore there's a possibility that you'll end up taking his for a lot longer. And if he leaves money on the table per se, it can over your life expectancy that we have currently in the calculator, you could leave a couple $100,000 on the table that you might enjoy, and it may help, particularly with end of life expenses. That would give you a little extra padding. Your success ratios are phenomenal. like I touched on before, um, your life insurance is great. Long-term care, Sancho has a great plan in place, and then of course you've carved out those assets, um, and then in addition to that, disability. You've also carved out assets for disability. He has a plan that's funded through his employer, which that that helps a lot. It really does. So that offsets some of those expenses, and it's great that you have had that comprehensive conversation between the two of you, and come up with those solutions on your own. I feel like you did a lot of the hard work for me, um, but going forward. I would suggest keeping the dialogue going, reducing those expenses, considering delaying Social Security by a few years, um, rebalancing those portfolios, maybe possibly retitling some of those accounts or adding you as a TOD, as well as just making sure that all of your paperwork is in good order and there's good communication and consistency as to where you keep those documents as well. There are some online lock boxes that you can choose to use that are safe but are accessible during an emergency. So I really applaud all of your hard work. You and Sancho work very hard. Um, you've accumulated a great bit of assets, and I think you could tweak some things and make it better, give you a little more cash flow, particularly with reducing those business expenses, etc. And just, I think you've just done a fabulous job, but my job is to make sure that you're comfortable with your plan. In times of crisis or market volatility, etc., we come back, we revisit the plan, we make sure that you're on task, and I'm here to help you in any way, shape, or form. If you have any questions or Sancho has any questions, please feel free to contact me. We can discuss this. We can change some things and come up with some further further discussions or further solutions for you. And I look forward to working with you. And thank you so much for spending time with me. And I hope you found this very valuable.